news about Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo chapter 17. The title is called The Strongest, and we also have a cover page for it for Shonen Jump, with it specifically showing Yuji up in front. With it coming out very soon, we're going to be talking about theories about Mahito controlling Maru, Yuji stopping Nobara and fighting Mahoraga, Yuji saving Yuka's cancer, and so many more. This is going to be a wild JJK Modulo chapter 17 theory video, so let's just get right into it. Be sure to leave a like, it helps out so much. Thank you very much. And of course, be sure to subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality JJK content just like this. I make a ton on the channel, as you can see on the screen. I'm consistent and I put it relentlessly, so if you love JJK Modulo, I promise you, you will not regret subscribing. But without further ado, let's just start. So we have news that the next Jump issue is called The Strongest. Now, I'm not sure if this is the issue title of the Jump as a whole, so the whole Jump volume, or specifically for Jujutsu Kaisen. So this could be the title chapter for Jujutsu Kaisen, or it could be the Jump cover. However, I don't think it matters in any case, because this entire Jump volume, the next one coming out on January 4th, is dedicated to Jujutsu Kaisen specifically. So I have it right on the screen right now, so you can see it's got the anime teaser, a bunch of color pages talking about Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo Volume 1's release, and of course Yuji right front and center, where it says The Strongest, which is the title of this volume. And this Jump volume will be the one that Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 17 will come out on. Now, just please think with me. Please, I'm not talking about just a theory or a wild guess, but if the next issue of Shonen Jump, where chapter 17 will come out, has Yuji front and center and is specifically titled The Strongest, which is what we all believe, and I really think we know that Yuji is right now. He is the strongest of the modern day. And with it seeming more and more evident that Yuji is going to appear soon, does that not make it likely that Yuji is going to appear next chapter, or at very least at the end of the next chapter? And I want to remind you, as I talked about in my previous video very recently at Jump Fest, in case you missed it, this picture that I'm showing on the screen is the official art that Gege has made along with his speech about Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo. And this picture right here is drawn by AKUTAMI Gege himself. This is drawn by him, and it is current Yuji in Modulo. Not only was that said by himself, but you can specifically see that he's wearing the hoodie, which again is crazy because Yuji looks youthful. He looks exactly like he did when he's 15, so he really is immortal in terms of aging, so he doesn't age, which is tragic. You can see the sadness on his face, but I won't get too much into that now because that was the topic of my last video. But anyway, I just think all of this, every road we're getting, Yuji just recently being officially revealed, his Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo design, him being teased relentlessly in the past 7 chapters out of the last 17. He has been mentioned or shown by full name or specifically talked about that they need him, with the next issue being called The Strongest and Yuji being at the front cover. And again, maybe they just have him at the front cover because of the anime's release, because you can see him wearing his anime clothes. That's probably the case because it's promotion for the anime, but it's also promotion for Modulo, as you can see on the screen that's promoting the Modulo volumes, and it's just the fact that it's called The Strongest, this Jump issue, or even it could be this chapter. I may be misunderstanding this statement because it's very vague that I found on Twitter. So just be ready, that's all I'm saying. And now for the next part of the video. Mahito may be talking to Maru. So this is a theory I'm seeing float around a lot, and I don't agree with it fully. I want to say there's probably only a 20% chance of it being true. I just thought it's interesting that Mahito may be able to communicate with the Sumerians, although specifically the Lumilians, because they have the third eye and they're connected to the Kalyans. I mean, I guess the Deskuntes and the other ones have third eyes, but it's specifically the Lumilians that can have that connection with the Kalyans, that cry to them, that can hear to them. So an interesting theory that I've been seeing going around, that Mahito is the one talking to Maru and influencing him through his third eye, which would make sense since he has soul resonance and his whole technique is based on the souls. I mean, somehow, I still don't know how, he was able to talk to Tsurugi when he was on the verge of death, which the only explanation can be, it could be the same thing that he did with Sukuna, where when Sukuna died, it was the cursed realm, the land between life and death, and Mahito was chilling there. Maybe he's still there, and maybe that's how he talked to Tsurugi. Maybe he's somewhere completely different. Maybe he was reborn. Maybe it's the same Mahito. Maybe he's doing resonance, like I said before. We don't know what's going on, but the point is, he can somehow communicate with others. I mean, he specifically did it with a human being who's not even related to the Kalyans in any way. So why would he not be able to do it to Maru? That's very interesting, and it would make sense that the third eye gaslights Maru, and that's how he's able to become so serious. Of course, that may or may not be true. We don't know anything about these third eyes yet. This third eye having a personality of its own or a mind of its own could be a normal thing. That could just be unique to the Lumilians. That could be unique to the Sumerians as a whole. So maybe even Nobara has the same thing, where if he goes on a rampage and his third eye awakens, he could get way strong and get a buff, which would be crazy if Nobara has that. We don't know the full story. It could be so many things, but I do think the Mahito theory was interesting because he does have to tie back into all of this somehow, and I didn't mention it in my last video, so I want to talk about that here. Now, for the next part after that, Yuji Itadori. I've already talked about in so many recent videos how strong he's going to be and why he's going to appear. I'm not going to do that now. What I'm going to do is talk about more theories on what he could be doing very soon. Now, there's a very great theory out there that I specifically saw from Manga Animist. I saw him post this on Twitter or somewhere, that Yuji would be able to use his Cleaviness mantles inside of Yuka's cancer and specifically cut it down on a cellular level. That is a fantastic theory. I gotta give him props for that. I don't know if he came up with that or if someone else did, but I just saw it from his post, but I thought it was amazing because right now, like I talked about in my own previous video, so now I'll talk about my theory, Yuji is the only one who can save Yuka. She's the only person who can do that is Yuta. Sorry, not Yuta, Yuji. I mean, Yuta's long dead. And this is specifically because it was confirmed in this chapter that whether Nobara wins or Mahoraga wins, Yuka's going to die in any case because of the suspended state of death that she's in. So it doesn't matter, she's going to die. However, the only way that she can be saved, as was confirmed by Tsurugi in this chapter, is if the ritual is nullified. And guess how it was nullified during Shibuya, when an outsider came in and basically killed Mahoraga that way. I've already talked about this in my previous video, but the point being, Yuji is the only person who can save her. There's the possibility of Nobara going back to his home planet, but as was discussed in the chapter itself, that's not possible because if he does and he goes back to his home planet, the curse that's affecting his sister may kill her even if the sister doesn't go with him, because Nobara is connected to that curse binding his sister. So that's why Yuji is going to be the one to do this. And another way that Yuka can be saved is, first of all, Yuji killing Mahoraga. That is the literal only way Yuka survived this. And the second way is if Yuji can actually cure the cancer in that way. As for the cancer part, I still lean more towards Mahito being the cure for that. That's the way I see it being solved, with potentially a binding vow between Cross or Tsurugi, but I love the Yuji theory as well, because that would give a more happy ending. And I want to remind you, I don't think we're getting a dark ending for Modulo. If I'm wrong, you can come back to this and you guys can clown me or say I'm wrong, but honestly, I just don't think so. A lot of people say Jujutsu Kaisen is dark, and that it is. It is definitely a dark story, especially compared to other shonens. There are definitely a lot of deaths, but people don't realize that it's a lot happier than they thought. And I truly mean this. I really don't get why people are bamboozled into thinking this is Hunter x Hunter levels of dark. Yes, people die, like Choso died for example, or Yuki died, or Geto died, but there's also a lot of happy outcomes, like Nobara didn't die, she was in a coma, Higuruma survived as well, Kusakabe survived as well. A lot of people that we thought died got fake out deaths, they ended up being alive. I wouldn't really say fake out deaths, that's going too far. They were never confirmed to be dead. It was more so they probably should have died, but they didn't. Even Yuta, for example. I mean, Yuta didn't die after getting cut in half and taking Gojo's body, and he even got the happy ending, getting his own body back. And I mean, just look at the ending of JJK. It's very happy. Yes, Gojo died as well, but everyone got a very happy ending. The students were happy. Everyone is very happy. Yuta and Maki got married. Megumi and Angel got married. Yuji did meet that girl again, the white-haired girl, if you remember her, in the epilogue, and they actually started a relationship as well. And so far, Modulo has been going very good as well, with it being confirmed that Cross is alive. He's still alive. He's still not dead. Maru did say he's on the verge of losing his own sibling, but he's not dead, so he may come out of this alive somehow. Maybe it could even be Yuji who saves him. I'm trying to say, I think someone probably is going to die. Maybe two people. I don't know about two though. I think one person may die, but it could even be the option where nobody dies. And I think for sure that we're going to get a happy ending on this. And the reason I'm saying all this, I'm trying to say I believe Yuka's going to survive. I don't think she's going to die. I think Gege likes her as a character, and I just don't see him killing her. I really don't. Especially with the whole plot point that she was destined to die of cancer, and there being so many avenues to save her, like Yuji and very specifically Mahito as well. I do think she's gonna survive. But if we do get a darker ending where maybe she dies, or Maru or Cross dies, or let's say Mahito takes over Tsurugi's body and he dies that way, maybe Rika and Yuka sort of become one and the same, where Yuka becomes a vengeful cursed spirit because if she dies, it's not going to be because of Jujutsu, she's going to die naturally of cancer, meaning she could be the next Rika, which is also tragic. Who knows where it could go. But hey, let me know your own thoughts in the comments down below. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like, it helps out so much. Thank you very much. And of course, subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality JJK Modulo content just like this. As I said in the intro, if you love JJK Modulo, I guarantee you with everything, you will not regret subscribing. I post a ton on the channel. But that's all from me. Have a great day guys, and take care.